Hello everybody, what's going on? Promise here, back with another StarCraft 2 commentary. This is going to be a little bit different. Yes, I just got done casting the ESA match between Complexity Academy and EG. Of course, I'm not going to spoil any games or any winners in that series. But this was a game that I liked. This is a game that I casted. This is a game that I enjoyed a lot. So I will share this game with you guys, of course. The reason why I am casting this specific match, which is today, August 24th, 2012, is because there is an IPL caster search. Yes. There is another caster search, and I am super excited that those kinds of things are still going on in the community. There's been threads, people are like, hey, StarCraft 2 is dying, League of Legends is the boss, and just, you know, switch over to League of Legends. No, I will not do that. There is room for many different games. The world cannot survive with just one game. StarCraft 2 cannot lead the charts forever, but I'm not going to have that kind of talk, guys. I'm going to focus strictly on this game. So let's go ahead and introduce our players. We have spawning in the bottom right side. In as our red Protoss player, it's going to be EroSennin. And me personally, I don't know who this guy is. I have not seen this name at all. I don't know his exact rank on ladder. Obviously, he has to be a good player because he is part of the Complexity Academy. But his opponent, not going to be too easy. So we have his opponent, who's going to be in the upper left position of the map. Of course, this is played on Ohana. It's going to be Evil Genius's IdrA. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty tough game for the red Protoss player. IdrA, a guy, of course, extremely prevalent in our community, someone that is known, someone who has had a lot of accomplishments. This guy is an MLG winner. This guy participated in numerous GSLs. I believe maybe GSL Season 1, Season 2. This guy trained in Korea for quite some time, lived in the Slayer house, so he is well equipped for being a successful professional player. Hasn't had the best results recently, but not a big deal at all. I'm really excited to kind of see what he's going to be able to do in the ZVP matchup, which is honestly not one of his best matchups. But EroSennin, as I said before, don't know too much about him. He is part of the Complexity Academy, so I'm pretty sure they're training him up, making sure he's getting the right Protoss versus Zerg practice, working against Broodlords, working against all these kinds of things that Zerg players can throw at you. So it'll be interesting to see how he's going to go ahead and cope up against a player of IdrA's caliber. So far, openings, what are we seeing? We are seeing a Nexus coming down from EroSennin, Forge coming down as well. It was a Forge first, so not a big deal at all here from the Protoss player. Always good to be safe. Although IdrA is not a player that's gonna all-in you, very unlikely that he will do something like that. So openings looking very standard. In the base of IdrA, it looks like spawning pool has completed. Queen is on its way. Actually, first queen already popped out. Gonna try to march its way here into the natural expansion. And there's the expansion coming out from IdrA. So Ohana. Ohana is a very interesting map. I actually really like casting games on this map. Reason being, Zerg players have kind of adapted themselves to the metagame that Protoss players do, which is the Immortal Sentry all-in. That can be a huge pain to deal with. It's extremely hard to defend your third expansion. It's extremely hard to get enough sufficient units on the map, and just to get the right units. People don't know, like roaches and lings are very good, but the best way that someone can actually do damage with those kind of units against the Immortal Sentry all-in is if they get some kind of surface area surround onto the Protoss opponent. But we'll have to see if EroSennin decides to do that. So far, it looks like his expansion has completed. Chrono boosting probes, exactly what you kind of need to do with the stage. Get your economy going, figure out what tech the Protoss or the Zerg player are going to go for, and that's kind of what we have to wait for. EroSennin has a whole bunch of options. He can go for, you know, he can stay on 2 gases in the main. He can go ahead and take main gases or gases at the natural. Maybe even follow it up with a relatively quick third expansion. And then that's when IdrA's going to be like, okay, I have to do something against this. I cannot let the Protoss player take a greedy third expansion. But the probe going to go ahead and get into the main base of IdrA. Sees no gases. He even spots the third expansion. And that's kind of what it is in ZVP. You go for very quick third hatches. Get your gases. Get your Roach Horn, which is exactly what we're going to be seeing here from IdrA. There's the 2 gases being taken in the natural. Roach Horn coming down from IdrA. And something I want to note, these gases are in the natural. This is so smart from IdrA. If the Protoss player gets in the natural and scouts, he's just going to see this. He is going to assume that the Zerg is already taking gases in the main. So this has to be some sort of mind games, or just a style and the way that IdrA likes to you know, I guess show the way he takes the gases. So definitely something that's very intelligent here coming out from IdrA. Let's look at the production tab. There is a robotics facility in production right now from EroSennin. 2 gases are going to go ahead and get taken in the main base. Warp gate is about to finish here. +1 is completed as well. So it will be very interesting to see if he goes ahead and be aggressive, or if he's going to play a little bit more of a defensive style, maybe even kill these back rocks and take a quick 3rd expansion, which a lot of Protoss players do. Lo and behold, there it is. So sentries are going to go ahead and go to work here on the back destructible rocks. IdrA, meanwhile, there's a layer on its way. Did manage to go ahead and get an evolution chamber. And metabolic boost is being started. Okay, so IdrA has a few options. Most Zerg players in this situation have a few options. If the Protoss looks like they're going to go ahead and gear up for a very, very quick 3rd, some Zergs, the ones that are a little bit more defensive, that are not like super aggressive, would just take a 4th expansion. Some Zergs would just make roaches behind it and just try to go for an all-in, or just super aggressive with roaches and lings off of this 3-base economy. IdrA at this point, not really too sure exactly what it's going to do. There are some roaches being produced, 3 roaches, 4 zerglings, 2 spores coming down. Some IdrA might even be worried a little bit in terms of any kind of Dark Templar play here coming out from EroSennin. That is not going to be the case, but it's always good to be safe than to be sorry. And in fact, just continuing to make roaches and lings. So we'll have to see if IdrA's going to go ahead and commit to it, or if he's going to go ahead and maybe even transition into Infestor and possibly quick Broodlords, which is what a lot of Zerg players have been doing in this matchup. And Protoss players, honestly, it's hard to deal with that. Basically, I'm going to say like 85 to 90% of Protoss players really want to hit a timing before that Broodlord tech gets out on the map. They want to go for Stalkers, Sentries, Colossus, and just straight up kill your opponent. So we'll see if EroSennin decides to do that. 3rd expansion is going to get started right now from the Protoss player. IdrA right now going to go ahead and continue to make some roaches. 6 additional roaches in production. 28 lings are going to be out here soon for IdrA. Harvester count 65 drones compared to the 58 probes. And does IdrA go aggressive, or does IdrA go for a 4th? So far, he's showing units. He is making an infestation pit as well. Upgrades wise, we see +1 attack is going to finish here very, very soon for the roaches. Meanwhile, the Protoss units, or the Protoss opponent, has 1, 2, 3, okay, 4 gateways. And 1, 2, okay, he is going to be as defensive as possible here, guys. He does not want to die to any kind of roaches and any kind of zerglings. So we'll have to see exactly what IdrA can go ahead and make of this. But it looks like some roaches and lings are going to try to make their way into the 3rd expansion. We'll be able to spot all these gateways. IdrA does not want to overcommit. Going to try to make his way into the natural. Observer sees this. Pylon already in position right now for EroSennin. So he knows exactly the style and what's exactly going through IdrA's head. Supply count 139 for IdrA. 4th expansion coming down. 100 supply right now for EroSennin. 3rd expansion has completed. And Robotics Bay and Blink, really, really cool. So because he's on 3 bases, he can afford to go ahead and go Blink and Robotics Bay. This is a lot of tech, but if he buys himself enough time, if he goes ahead and gets the Colossus, the Stalker, the Blink, and the upgrades, and just hits a timing before IdrA gets any kind of Broodlord tech, he is going to be in a fantastic position. IdrA continuing to get his creep spread. Really nice creep spread looking so far here for Evil Genius's IdrA. As you see him getting at the pathogen glands, we see upgrades still continuing to be started. 4 infestors on its way. 4th expansion is going to finish here very, very soon for IdrA. And spamming the spines. IdrA is definitely looking like he wants to go for the later stages of the game. When a Zerg player goes for this many spines, he's telling himself, okay, I will be defensive, I will defend your attack, and I will tech towards Broodlords, which is exactly what we're going to be seeing here from IdrA. Hive hasn't started yet, so if he's going to go for these spines, he definitely wants to go ahead and start the Hive here as quickly as possible. And in return to that, if a Zerg is going for super quick Hive, the Protoss has to go ahead and hit a timing. And I'm assuming that the Zerg EroSennin is going to go ahead and go for a 3-base timing with this Colossus composition. Of course, the Robotics Bay has finished. Colossi are going to go ahead and be in production in the main base. We see that there is more gateways being added. And upgrades-wise, +2 weapons and +1 armor. Okay, so the Protoss is pretty good on being hyperactive here with continuing his upgrades. And upgrades are super, super important when trying to deal with a very strong army of a Zerg composition. IdrA sitting on 187 supply. Meanwhile, in the center of the map, Spines have finally completed. Infestors are going to join the fray. 4 Roaches in production. Spire being started as well for IdrA. As you see, okay, so the Observer sees this. Observer should see that the Hive is getting started. Okay, so the Hive... Okay, so EroSennin knows exactly what's going on, and this has to trigger something in his brain. This has to tell him, I have to go for an attack right now, or else IdrA is going to go for Broodlords, IdrA is going to go for Corruptors and Infestors, and if I don't have a Mothership, that's going to be really bad. But IdrA trying to come in from multiple angles, seeing exactly where he wants to engage the army. The Protoss player is doing a very good job of being aware. It looks like Infestor's going to drop into the main base. Infested Terrans being thrown out right now from IdrA, and a few Stalkers are already going to be there to chase it. IdrA going to go ahead and lift up the Infestors, but at the same time, these Infested Terrans going to be able to do a little bit of damage. Really good control there by EroSennin. Not going to send his whole army. In fact, leaving some sentries here, and this is so cool. He is leaving the sentries, and that is huge because if IdrA comes in here, he can just force field and buy himself as much time to go ahead and get his army back into the 3rd expansion to defend any kind of push. And man, this is really nice play by the Protoss player. I'm going to give props where props is due, guys, and he is playing a really, really fantastic game. But IdrA, again, not out of it at all. Hive is about to finish. Upgrades-wise, we see 1-1 has finished for IdrA. For the Protoss player, it looks like +3 weapons is going to be on its way, but this might just be the timing. This has to be the timing. If he cannot kill IdrA with this push right now, he's going to be in not the best position. Force was going down, trying to trap some Roaches and Lings. We'll be able to go ahead and get a handful of Lings there in that engagement. EroSennin is maxed. IdrA is maxed. Spines are still up. Maybe even make like 6-7 more spines. He is making more spines, but where are they being built? Okay, IdrA is making spines at that 4th expansion, even taking a 5th towards the left side of the map. And here comes the push right now from EroSennin, moving across the map with a bunch of Stalkers, Colossi, and Sentries. Fungal coming down from IdrA. IdrA has to engage this, and looks like he's going to try to do the best. Force field's going down from EroSennin, trapping a lot of these Zerg units. IdrA trying to make more units as we see a bunch of Corruptors soon. I'm assuming he's going to make Corruptors in the production tab. He definitely wants to get some Broodlords, but desperately trying to make some Roaches and Lings as you see EroSennin marching his way into that natural expansion of IdrA. IdrA basically maxed, but all he has is Corruptors. EroSennin going to go ahead and blink into that natural expansion. IdrA trying to send some Roaches and Infestors, throwing down Infested Terrans. Not the best position at all right now from IdrA. Spire is not even finished. It just finished, but it's a little bit too late. IdrA cannot make any Broodlords. He has nothing to do with this. We see some Roaches coming in from the back, but IdrA losing a lot of supply, and he just leaves the game. That was such a beautiful timing by EroSennin, scouting the Hive, seeing that IdrA does not have any kind of Broodlord tech on the map, and just executing a beautiful, well-timed attack. So congratulations to him, and that's going to do it for this cast, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to be working with IGN and IPL in the future, and hope to hear back from you soon. This is Promise, and I'm signing out.